My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. This is the only channel dedicated to UFC fight picks and DraftKings lineups run by MMA insiders and professional fighters. Every week, I join Dan Kramer and Nick Newell, two longtime professional fighters that have fought at the highest levels on the planet, as well as Jacob Lyons, a skinny kid from Indiana. So join us every single week for our full fight card breakdowns, our individual fight card breakdowns, our betting guide, and our DraftKings lineups. So we had a couple fight drops, a couple of swaps, a whole bunch of changes. We've messed with our lineups. So let's walk through our final.
What fight drop?
What's his name? You freaking had him in the money line. Then you had to remove him because the entire fight.
He's
dropped.
still in there. Not the fight.
Oh yeah,
drop.
the fight dropped. So the bet dropped. His opponent is a new opponent. Either way,
a couple of fights dropped. I'm like, did I miss something?
No, I meant like the
week.
Fight dropped and there's new opponent. Either way, man, things changed. These are our final lineups. Let me walk through mine before Clown Boy jumps in.
Whoa!
I'm with you, Jacob. Angelo just says things. He's like, well, you know what I meant. It's like, well, no, what you said was actually something that just didn't happen.
I've been nothing
clarify that.
I've been nothing but pleasant, and I get called Clown Boy. I mean,
okay. I was talking about Dan, but let's go.
You could have. I mean, yeah, if he was talking about you, it would have been Clown Girl.
So let's move on. I did make some changes. I originally, before we film this, we send our lineups to Jacob, who makes these wonderful graphics. And I sent him my lineup, which was the same as Monday's. And then 10 minutes later, I said, no, I'm making changes. I pulled the trigger. So I did make some changes from the lineup we had earlier in the week, and not because I had to. I wanted to get Shabazian out of my lineup. I do think he wins that fight. I think if you watch Shabazian against Jack Hermanson, watch Shabazian against Derek Brunson, and you say, oh, anybody could take down Shabazian. He's a bum. Derek Brunson did. Derek Brunson's a freaking athlete that has pretty good wrestling that we've seen. So, that's not necessarily the greatest reference. Either way, I just felt there was too much risk with him. If Jack Hermanson wins, he just holds him down or submits him, and I get no points. Anyway, so I moved some things around to get him out. I have Kulibao in the main event, and that is instead of Ismagulov. I needed that extra $400. I think Kulibao is levels above his opponent. Jan Shalan does have the ability to grapple his way to a win. That is an opportunity there. I don't think he'll get it. I don't think it'll happen. I think Kulibao wins. I think he wins convincingly. So, the swap there was Ismagulov for Kulibao. Then I have Carla Esparza. Once I ditched, who did I ditch? I just talked about it. Shabazian. Once I ditched Shabazian, I was able to put Carla Esparza in here. I do think she wins. And I think with her grappling, she will at least score a good amount of points. Takedowns in DraftKings are 5 points. Ground control is also points. So I do think she'll score some decent points, and I think she wins. So I have her in my lineup instead of Shabazian. I have Rob Font in the main event. I think Rob Font wins this fight. I think it's a war. A lot of people think it's a stoppage. I think it's a back and forth fight. He has incredibly technical boxing. I think he's going to score a lot of points, and it's over 5 rounds. So I'm pretty high on Rob Font here. I was very high on him before he fought. Who did he just smoke in that awesome fight?
Wow.
The little Marlon Moraes. I was really high on him in the Marlon Moraes fight, and I'm really high on him here. And then I have Yancy Medeiros. Yancy Medeiros is he actually might be a favorite now, but he opened as a big underdog. He's made some life changes. He's went back to his original camp, his original roots. He's incredibly talented, and I think this is a really good matchup stylistically for him. I think it's a war, and I think he wins it. Then I have Ramos over Algeo. This is razor thin, and this fight was supposed to happen a few months ago, and I picked Algeo in that fight. Not much has changed other than Ramos's DraftKings price went down like $400. And at $7,700, this is a really good, wild back and forth fight. It's, in my opinion, it's a coin flip who wins. The other guys are much more confident in Ramos. So great. That works for me. So I have Ramos in here, $7,700 in what is probably the fight of the night is a solid value. And then I have Bruno Silva over Rodriguez. I think that is just a brutalizing. I think there's a stoppage, and I think he will earn every bit of that $9,300. That is my lineup. I don't imagine I'm going to make any changes. unless something drops. Jacob, walk you through yours.
Yeah, I wasn't really listening. So did you mention anything about Dvorak in your breakdown? Because in the live stream, not 3 hours ago, you said that Dvorak is definitely going to be in my lineup.
And the reason Dvorak is not in my lineup is because I needed to get Shabazian out, and I couldn't afford him in there. Dvorak, what we talked about, anybody who's just watching this now, has a new opponent on 1 day notice. His opponent dropped yesterday, weighed in today. 1 day notice, he has an opponent. So I was like, some awesome value there, and I went into my whole spiel that you longtime listeners know. DraftKings does not change people's values. Dvorak was valued at $8,800 earlier in this week with his original opponent.
The cord.
He now has a last-minute replacement on 1 day notice. They didn't revalue him, so 8,800 is a good play.
Do you know what he is right now? He was $8,800 as a negative 145 favorite. He's a negative 550 right now. Yeah,
and he's still $8,800. So it's a very valid point, Dan. Dan hates when I bring up that point because anytime this happens, I hammer it home. He is a phenomenal value.
It's like
a bunt single,
right?
He's a phenomenal value at 80. Bunt singles. It's the opposite. $8,800 is a phenomenal value for somebody with a last minute day.
The best part about that is
playing in a land envelope. We get it. The price doesn't change if somebody.
No, the best part about the bunt single is everyone knows there's no way in hell Angelo's beating out Angelo's beating out a bunt single. Dvorak made it in my lineup, $8,800. He was in my lineup on Tuesday. He was in my lineup on Monday. I actually think that this is a little bit of a tougher fight for him. He's against somebody that really knows how to grapple, and I thought that he was going to be the better grappler as well as the better striker in his last matchup. Now he might not be the better grappler, so I think it's a little bit more of a dangerous fight than it for him. But I still think he at $8,800, you can't go wrong with there. Cody Garbrandt, I think he wins. I think he wins inside the distance. So for $7,900, that's incredible value for him. So I went with him. Ismagulov, I went with him because he's the biggest favorite on the card, and he definitely acts like it the way he fights. He's a phenomenal striker when he needs to be, a phenomenal grappler when if he needs to grapple. Dan actually has me scared about Alves, and I might actually flip this pick for Kulibao. Just because I love that matchup. I think a little bit more than I like this one now because Dan literally is like scared me to death about this Alves pick. So I'm not sure about this. I might flip it, but I'll probably stick with my guns.
Ismagulov should win. I mean, I'm not saying he's definitely going to. I mean, but for 90,
I know, but the level of competition, I think Alves is much better, than Shah. So it's like,
and there's a 2-year layoff.
Right. Yeah. So I'm definitely going to switch that now. And then I have Yancey in the next pick. I think this is an all-out war, a brawl, and for $7,800, I think he's going to score 1 million points, even if he finds a way to lose a decision. I think he still scores 60 or 70 points just with strikes alone. So, and then we're going with the lock of the week. So Ramos previously was gonna be the lock of the week, but there was some controversy. He got outvoted by the people. So this week we're going Ricardo Ramos. I think he absolutely dominates this fight. I think he wins the striking. I think Algia starts taking shots because Ramos is winning the striking, and then Ramos reverses those positions and stays dominant on the ground as well. So that's the lock of the week, Ricardo Ramos. And you'll notice, guys, that everyone's starting to follow me now. Last week you both went with Vivi. She won the fight, no lock of the week. We're going for 4 in a row. Now all of a sudden I have Ramos. Now I see Ramos start popping up at everyone's lineup. It's very interesting. And my last pick, I went with Silva. I think he just finds a way. Court McGee is a veteran, and he's probably not going to get finished. He's very, very tough, which I think is going to benefit Silva with the takedowns and the grappling. Court McGee, to me, is just a living, breathing punching bag. He's going to get taken down. He's probably going to get submitted eventually, but it's going to be late. So I went Silva. I think this is one of the safer picks, especially at $8,200. I just don't see a lot in Court McGee at this stage in his career. I think he's won like 2 of his last 8 or 2 of his last 6 or something. So that's my lineup. I haven't said this in a while, but I am so confident in this lineup. I mean, somebody came in the chat today and did the stats. They said they started following all of our lineups every single week since the Izzy card. and I'm doing the best out of everyone. So I'm the most consistent.
That's either you're lying or that person needs
Angelo?
to get a calculator. I mean, it's all tracked.
I didn't verify it.
But it was a comment. So you're saying that somebody that subscribes to our channel is a liar.
I don't even know what it was.
No, so you're saying that they're a liar. You're calling him a liar. Somebody that subscribes to our channel. I have
to go look at the comment.
Unreal.
Respectfully.
If somebody said
I
something in the
deleted
chat,
the video
it's fact.
because in the video I got a little loose with my lips, spilled some secrets. I had to delete the video, so it's no longer there. That comment has disappeared.
Yeah, Angelo's. We're reviewing. Jacob and I are reviewing Angelo's live stream.
Yeah, he's not, guys. I'll be live streaming alone tomorrow.
Whenever there's like a moment of silence, he just starts
spewing secrets, loose lips, man, loose lips. So Jacob snuck in the single bunt fat joke. Daniel, why don't you walk through your lineup?
All right, so let's get right out in front of this one. I'm going big here. I switched my lineup around a little bit. And you know what? It's riding on Alves. And here's why I got him. He's $6,700. He opened up a bunch of money for other fighters. And I think he's going to be competitive in this fight, especially early on. I don't think he'll necessarily win. I think he has a chance to win via knockout or submission. But Ismagulov has not shown to be a finisher lately. So I think over the course of 3 rounds, he will definitely earn his $6,700 salary. So I've got him in there, and that opened up a ton of other favorites.
I literally, as you were talking, I just changed my lineup. I just went in and changed it and put Kulibao instead of Ismagulov. So.
I think that's the right play, Kulibao. So speaking of Kulibao, he's also in my lineup. From what I've seen on tape, although I will say that stare down was pretty intense. I don't think it means anything, but I don't know. They looked like they were about to have a very competitive fight. Unfortunately for Shailin, I don't think he is anywhere near the level of fighter that Kulibao is. I think Kulibao has more power. I think he's going to win this fight really anywhere he wants. So for $9,100, a little more expensive than I would normally pay for Kulibao, but I will take it in this fight, and I'm hoping he gets a stoppage. And then I got Dvorak. So we talked about that. He's fighting a guy on less than 24 hours notice, basically. And it is a tough matchup. But again, if you have the chance to get somebody at $8,800 that looks good, I mean, striking wise, his fundamentals are very solid. The grappling may or may not be a problem, but I mean, he's got 21 fights. I think he'll be fine. And I think over the course of 3 rounds, a guy taking the fight on 24 hours notice is going to get tired regardless of what sort of shape he's in. And I think Dvorak will win this fight and maybe get a later stoppage. So for $8,800, that made a lot of sense. Then I got Garbrandt, and really a pick 'em fight for me. I'm just going with Garbrandt because he's cheaper. I think he's got more upside for a knockout finish. And I think he's just overall the more athletic, dynamic fighter. I think Rob Font is very good. I think it will be close. It could go either way. I just like the upside of Garbrandt for the better value. Then I've got Medeiros. Again, $7,800 in what I think is going to be a 3-round fight where they both score a ton of points. I think he's got ways to win here via submission. But I think overall for $7,800, he's going to definitely earn his value in DraftKings. And then lastly, $9,300, my second most confident pick. It might be Kulibao, and I think he actually might be my first most confident pick. Bruno Silva over Rodriguez. Bruno Silva is very, very good, and he made me a bunch of money the last time he fought, so I'm riding with him again. But I just think, I mean, he's fighting a guy, a very tough guy, but the guy fought regionally in Alaska for most of his career. So the level of competition they both have faced is not even similar. And Bruno Silva can finish this fight anywhere, I think. Striking, submissions. So for $9,300, I do think he will get a stoppage, and I did bet that as well. So I feel good about my lineup. Let's go Alves. If Alves pulls off the win, it's the first fight of the night, right? Is that the lineup?
And the biggest underdog in the entire card too.
Yeah, if he's competitive in that fight, and if he pulls a win off, it's going to be great. If he doesn't, I'll go to bed early.
This actually makes me feel better because now after I changed my Kulibao pick, me and Dan now have 4 of the 6 the same. And anytime me and Dan are like right there at like 4 of the 6 the same, we both do well. So, and because we don't have any flips on the our other 2 picks either. So,
but that's usually because I always do well. So then when you line up with me, that means we both do well. So that's kind of how that logic works.
So let me walk through Nick's.
I'm the only person that went 6-0 and lost to Dan, who also went 6-0.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate week for you. So let me walk through Nick's lineup. Nick isn't here. He is training for his Bellator fight on June 11th. So check that out. Nick has Justin Taffa over Vandera. Vandera's burned us in the past. He's a giant man, has some wrestling skills, but he was absolutely smoked by a much smaller man. He doesn't think he'll be able to get Justin Taffa down. Taffa has phenomenal striking, and he thinks he'll put him away. He has Shabazian over Hermanson, and I talked to Nick about that one for a while, and he basically said the same thing I said. He said Derek Brunson is a very good wrestler, so to watch Shabazian get taken down by Derek Brunson and say, oh, Hermanson's going to do the same thing, that's not what's going to happen. So he's very confident in the Shabazian pick. This isn't just Shabazian was cheap. He really thinks Shabazian's going to win.
The more we talk about it, the more I kind of like that Shabazian pick. I'm not going to lie. I'm just thinking
I just moved him out of my lineup.
Did Nick happen to say that that's his lock at all?
Yeah. So
I have copy. I would like to talk to a lawyer if so, because it sounded like he was about to make it his lock.
So
he would never risk that.
He has Bill Algeo over Ramos, and he thinks the wrestling is the big difference there. He is actually really confident in that. When he asked me who's Jacob's lock of the week, I said
Did he
Ramos.
really?
He said that's a mistake. Yeah, that was an actual conversation. He goes, that's a mistake.
I'm shaking, bro. I'm shaking.
Then he has Ben Rothwell over Barnett in a very confident pick. We're all very confident in that, except Jacob for some weird reason. Bruno Silva over Rodriguez. Every single one of us confident. And he also went Alves over Ismagulov. A lot of it had to do with just how crazy cheap he was, but he was pretty high on Alves' power in his hands. Alves has submission ability. Alves is the busier guy, and Ismagulov hasn't fought in 2 years. So he was pretty high on that. But he also has 3 fighters in his lineup over $9,000. So he has a feast or famine lineup here with Alves.
If Nick's lineup does well, it's going to be one of those that wins like 80 grand, because there's so many stoppage, opportunities in that lineup that if he hits them all, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Justin Taffa could get the knockout. Edmund Shabazian could get the knockout. Bill Algeo could get the submission. Bren Rothwell could get the TKO. Bruno Silva will get the knockout, and Rafael Alves could get the knockout or the submission. Nick is
run that back one more time, top to bottom.
Okay, so Nick is a feast or famine guy. Every single one of his lineups every week is feast or famine. So this is an interesting one. I'm actually going to take Nick's lineup and throw it in some of those big GPPs.
You keep saying feast or famine.
I'm all about the feast. I'm all about the feast. Beat you to it.
It's
beat you to
kind of an odd term to use in the first place, and then you just kept saying it.
Anyway,
hey, for the record, I have $400 left over in my DraftKings.
I have 500 now.
Wow, that drove me. I sat there for 40
minutes. You know what I might do? Tell me how you guys feel about this. Is I might do, instead of Claudio Silva over Court McGee.
Claudio Silva.
Over Court McGee, because I know some of you guys like Court McGee.
I think Court McGee wins that fight. I think it's just a good matchup.
Well, what do you think about replacing him for Felicia Spencer?
100%. 100%.
You're saying Claudio Silva? Yeah,
Replace
definitely.
Felicia Spencer for Silva?
Yeah.
I like Silva.
I hate giving you advice that's going to make you.
I like Silva, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
I think there's upside to Silva, but dude, to be honest, that fight could go either way, and they're both traditionally lower output fighters. I think. I don't actually. Who knows?
The thing that I'm thinking, the last couple of days, I was really wanting to put Felicia in my lineup, but I couldn't find a way. And now when I made that Kulibao switch, now I can. So I'm like,
I think Felicia is a guaranteed win, and what's his name is not, and that's easiest logic you can use to make that swap.
I mean, the other easy,
I think it's different. I think
betting
Silva,
odds, right? Felicia Spencer is what, a minus 200, minus 180, something like that.
And she can get a finish too. I don't know if Silva can get.
Silva will not get a finish. I mean,
no, Silva could get Silva could get it. I don't know. It's a crazy one, but I would go with Spencer's the safer bet for a cash game for sure. If you're doing multi-entry stuff, that's a different story. But
Yeah, I
for a
probably
cash
switch
game,
it.
I think Felicia Spencer's the safer
So,
bet.
so go back to my lineup real quick, and then I'm going to tell them my changes real quick because I made 2 of them.
Oh my god.
So your whole lineup's different.
Nah, well, I flipped out.
You wanna take,
why
like,
did we
20
even
minutes and come
film-
back
Why
and
did we
just-
even film this?
you
Jacob
guys
just-
convinced me. I mean, you guys are very good. You're very convincing. So I went Ismagulov. I switched to,
This is going to be really easy to.
You switched
Kulibau.
Ismagulov to Kulibau,
Kulibau, and then
and you
Silva to
switched
Spencer.
Silva to Spencer.
Are we able to track the timing of people who unsubscribe? Like,
Yeah.
No one has
see
ever
this.
their
unsubscribed.
brain starts hurting, and then
No one has ever unsubscribed, Dan. Come on.
Either way, the editing on this is going to be interesting, and this is a good week. I feel very confident about this week. Last week, every single fight could have gone any direction. This week, we're much more confident, especially, we have some underdogs. We're very confident in them as well. We're not, it's not as much of a toss-off, at least in our opinion. So,
and I are both going 6-0.
so check out our individual fight breakdown videos. If you want to know more
is not.
about a specific fighter and you have, you see a name here, you don't necessarily know it, watch our individual fight breakdown video. We break that down for you. Make sure you let us know in the comments whose lineup you like the most. And Jacob is doing a live stream Saturday. So hop into the comment section, do a super chat, donate some money, share your winnings. We know you're getting rich. Share the love. We'll see you Saturday.
it goes to Jacob's water bill. So everyone
Water.
feel good about that.
It goes to his water bill.
Okay, goodbye. You did the New York accent 2 weeks ago.
Right? Why that
Hated
accent
it.
again? It's so
They
strange.
That's what you sounded like. You said water.
Dan has literally no discernible accent whatsoever.
He sounds like Chael Sonnen.
Dan sounds like marbles in his mouth, but no accent.
He sounds like Chael Sonnen.
I've been told I have a Southern accent.
I don't know where that comes from. It's I'm not going to say anything. My wife is Southern. So anyway, check out the
We're
live
still
stream
filming.
Saturday.
I didn't realize we were even.
We're still recording.
Got it.
We'll see you guys Saturday. Big giant shout out and humongous thank you to all of our members and supporters. I specifically want to thank Antsy Music, David Ramon, Chris Jory, Dunchichi, Jesse Correa, La Puzza, Joe Todoro, Logan Garrick, X Sweet Spot X, Jordan Bergard, Aaron Reynolds, Brent Hinson, Jill, Juan Valdez, Chris Riley, Kayla Roth, King Rob, oh my gosh, 1337, Pierre Exelholm, and Chris V. You guys are outstanding. We genuinely appreciate it. If you are an existing member and you have not gotten your commemorative Dan Kramer collecting card, reach out with
Like
your
Pokemon
address.
cards, they're making a comeback.
Reach out with your address and we will mail it to you. If you are not a member and you want one of those limited edition cards, hit the join button below and we will get one out to you immediately. Members also have the ability to earn $30 in our free DraftKings league instead of the traditional $15 for everybody else. Thank you all.
That's double.
That is double. It's basically an investment. So thank you all very, very much for the support. It is appreciated, and we will see you every single weekend.